Growing up, my mother, my father, and myself would study the King James Version of the Bible from beginning to end. And once we were done, we would start all over again. It's funny the things that you realize as you start to grow. The more I grew, the more I realized that there were different versions of the Bible, and that I owed it to myself to see what the difference was between these versions. One of the things, or one of the texts that I should say that intrigued me, was reading the book of Enoch. Oh, I just love reading that book. The text, even though I'd read it many, many times before, I was reading it the other day and something really stood out to me. Enoch reminds us during his vision with the angels that they showed him how the angels of heaven came down to earth and had relations with the women, and from that relation came the Nephilims, the giants. Enoch also reminded us that the flood of Noah, these Nephilims were destroyed. However, the very spirit of the Nephilims, it was said that they still roam the earth. Now, I started putting two and two together when I realized that when the angels were casted out of heaven, they were imprisoned by God here in another realm. However, I often wondered if they're chained and Satan is bound with a chain on his foot and the fallen angels are bound, why is it that we still have all these negativity and evil spirits that are going around? I thought about Jesus when he casted out the evil spirits out of the man and casted them into the pigs, and then the pigs went off the cliff and died. So many thoughts started coming in, and because you've read so many different versions of scriptures that it's almost like a puzzle piece, it starts to fit. The spirit, these Nephilims, they weren't good people. They were people that would eat man, beasts. They did ghastly things with animals, birds, humans, and it was just chaotic, so God had to get rid of them. Alright, they're gone. But the spirit, the evil spirit, still roams the earth. And in order for a spirit to be able to have power, it needs a body to live in. It needs a host. When we're not prayed up, when we're not praying to God, when we allow this temple to be idle, we can attract these spirits to come inside us, I should say. The scriptures warns us of people in power, people in government, people in principalities. And you can't help but realizing it to see a pattern, and again, the puzzle's fitting together. To see a pattern of people in power, you see their pride, you hear of the things that they do behind closed doors that are now coming to light. Another part of the Bible, whatever is done in the dark must come to light. And you can't help but realize and see that these people are being inhabited by one or more spirits. You're often taught that the windows are the eyes to the soul. Now, I'm very empathetic. Empathy is something that comes naturally to me. And because of that, I've always found myself to be very keen to energy. That's why I often, if anyone who knows me realizes that I may show up at an event but I do not stay too long, because the energy for which I carry is very powerful, and it can attract the wrong people. So it's almost like opening a box of light, but not leaving it open for too long. You've got to close it up, so you've got to protect yourself. And when I look at these people, I can smell them before I see them. I do not just see evil or spirits or negativity or positivity in a person by looking through their eyes. It's written all over them. It's in your demeanor, in the way you dress, in the way you comb your hair, in the way you do things. It's almost like a rotten corpse. If it smells good, you know it's good. If it smells bad, you know it's bad. Sometimes I myself, growing up, had to go through periods where one minute I'd be fine, and the next minute it's almost as if I feel a tightening in my chest, and you think, oh, I need to get up and stretch, or I need to do something, and I would chalk it up as just either stress or nervousness or overthinking, but it was none of the two. Once this started, what would follow would be a period of doubt, a period of fear, a period of worry, and it would continue. And what was happening was I was allowing these things, these negative thoughts, to take over my body. And before I knew it, if someone said the wrong thing, I would get really, really upset, wondering to myself, why am I feeling this way? Why am I doing this? And how do I get out of it? The only way to preserve yourself, and I use that word wisely, preserve, the only way to ensure that these negative spirits do not have access to your temple, which is your body, is for you and I to continue to pray. It means not always getting on your hands and knees and saying, oh Lord, help me, but for you to pray. Before you walk into someone's house, pray. Touch the door of someone's house before you go in, and ask God to let the peace be in that house. Remember, the scripture says, if there is no peace there, you need to walk away. Dust the dirt from under your foot. Over the years, I've found myself pulling away from a lot of people. And it's not just friends, it's not just family, it's almost everyone that you are accustomed to being around. And I often wonder, why is it that I feel this way? Until one day, God pulled me aside, and it was as if I was looking through a glass door into a home. And he showed me the things for which I would have not seen because I was caught up in the negativity. I had to pull myself away. I had to go through a period where I needed to heal, a period where I needed to pray, a period of understanding. But through it all I kept thinking was, how do these people feel knowing that I'm no longer engaged with them as I did before? But God reminded me that that part of thought was not for me. My part of thinking had to do with me and my temple and the work I needed to do in order to move forward in his light. He calls all. He gives us all a chance to make better of our lives. If you know that you are out there and you're going through periods where you realize that you are feeling stressed, miserable, ignorant in places, and you have no idea why, you need God in your life. You really do. And I say this for governments, for people in principalities, for people of power, people with money, great responsibility. Find God. Find your peace. Money is not what will be there for you in the end. We all came into this world with nothing, and I guarantee you we will all leave this world with nothing. And the seed that you sow in this lifetime, you will reap your harvest. If you've sown your seed on good ground, when you're unable to look after yourself in your later years, good will be there to assist you in transitioning out of this life. But if you've sown bad seeds, I can guarantee you, you are going to see the very pits of hell before you leave this world. Take my warnings and take it seriously. Time is running out. I hope that this message meets and greets the ones that need it the most. We'll talk again soon. Bye for now.